Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Kayode Oladele. I represent Yewa North and Imekwa from Federal Constituency. I am from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, just like the previous speakers have said, I also would like to support this bill because it's something that many lawyers, even outside this assembly, have been talking about on the need to amend certain parts of the Evidence Act. More importantly, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of inadmissibility of illegally obtained documents. In practice, just like Reverend Pajok said, they are referred to as fruits of personal trees. In other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, you cannot tender an illegally obtained document. They are inadmissible. But in this country, I think the makers or the drafters of the bill, of the Evidence Act, are being persuaded by relevancy because they feel that once it is relevant, then it is admissible. But Mr. Speaker, that can also outweigh the relevancy of it is not important. What is very important is whether those pieces of evidence are legally obtained. If the answer is no, they are considered as fruits of poisonous trees and they are not admissible. So, Mr. Speaker, on that alone, I think we have to, as an assembly, look into this so that we take out the hardship that the provision of this section has been doing to people, because just like the Honorable Project said, a lot of times you see police, you see law enforcement agencies going into people's homes and violating their rights. The law is very clear. We have fundamental rights. We have the rule of law, which have to be obeyed. And when you say that you can just kick somebody's door, get anything, and then go to court, and then the only thing the court will do is to say whether that evidence is admissible or not. Once it is admissible, it doesn't really matter whether it was obtained legally or not. As I said earlier, Mr. Speaker, this is not something that is being practiced in other place. This is the only jurisdiction that we have that. Apart from that, Mr. Speaker, we also come to discuss the issue of the public documents. Just like the sponsor of this bill has said, do we have to, on all occasions, begin to call the makers of those documents to come and tender them? And what if you have various cases or several cases going on in various courts on the same matter? So the maker of the original document will have to travel, move from one court to the other, trying to tender these things. And when we believe that these are public documents, Mr. Speaker, I think that we have to go beyond this, because it's onerous and it's really it's going to work out injustice to those that are the makers of these documents. And to that extent, Mr. Speaker, I will urge this House to also take that in. On the issue of the customs and the admissibility of customs, particularly those that are considered judicially noticed, it's very complex. And we also have to understand that society is very dynamic. So what was agreed or what was regarded as a custom last year or even some years back might not be custom this time around. So we are not looking at precedents, we are looking at customs. And just like Honorable Dati said, customs change, society is dynamic. Law should also be dynamic. We should not leave it to the discretion of the judge, who may not even know anything about that law. So even if in the past such laws have been agreed or such customs have been accepted as judicially noticed, we still have to prove it now that it is still the same custom, because that custom may have changed. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge my colleagues to critically look at these amendments and allow it to go through so that we can have our own Evidence Act in tandem with what is obtainable elsewhere and in other jurisdictions. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.